And we were talking about how some more conservative students don't always feel that their opinions and perspectives are as valued in the classroom. And I was talking with a colleague about this, and from that colleague's perspective, the college's decision to have programming about DACA and things like that supported partisan politics. And I thought about it and I said, well, I don't really see it that way. I see this as us really supporting our institutional mission, vision, and values, and that transcends partisan politics. Mm-hmm. So I was curious how you would respond to a question, and if you had anything you would add in a response or a question.
Thank you, Bess. So, Dr. Vincent, let me say a couple things about this, because I appreciate your question. I've heard that informally and formally in a couple spaces. And the college's position has been very clear about this for a number of years. This actually predates me, but also I think I'm proud to have helped lifted it up. The county, recognizing early on that we all benefit from an educated populace. So regardless if you see this as a social justice issue, if you see it as an opportunity to help lift up populations who have been underserved in the community, the county has posited, yes, we believe those things, but let's look at this truly from an economic perspective. We all choose to live in an educated community because we know the benefits of that. We also know that in order to do that, education is the pipeline to do that. So continue with the federal government, who had a K-12 mandatory commitment to this. They have to respond to and serve students regardless of ability, background, and immigration status. Our county said we will continue to support the college in this space because we believe at the end of the day we all have both recognized education as both a private good and a public good. So what I would offer to that is that the ability to advocate now has been something the Board of Trustees empowered me to do. There have been certain, I'm actually limited, interestingly enough, by board policy about what types of things I can and cannot speak to. And in fact, I can't take a position on issues on behalf of the college or endorse candidates unless the board has a very specific rationale for that. In the time that I've been here, this is the only issue that the Board of Trustees has empowered me to speak to in that space. And that is because they've recognized the potency of what it means to be living in an educated community, and recognizing that our county, who is our primary funding source, believes deeply in that pipeline to K-12 to support the economic prosperity. I think that I would love to have a healthy debate with anyone who would offer that this is not in the best interest of the county, this is not in the best interest of the college, because I don't believe that, both not from a political perspective, but for me, it's an intellectual one. I can't wrap my head around that as an intellectual argument. So for me, if we want to, and I do think there should have healthy spaces to talk and debate, I would love to see faculty in this space having a debate around many number of issues. The board and I have chosen to advance this because we recognize, we believe that it's an economic issue for our county. We also recognize that if we don't take this up, we're also very concerned about the students that we already serve. And that's the part that I think is sometimes lost in this conversation. We can have broad conversations about national immigration policy. We could talk about all the great stuff that folks like you talk about and our social scientists talk about, all of that's important. At the end of the day, we've chosen to posit this as a student issue that we currently serve as an economic one for our county. And I'm hopeful, I think that every opinion is valued and warranted and should have the opportunity to be expressed. That doesn't mean that we're always going to agree. And at some point, and as we all know in academia, that's part of the reason why we chose to come to it, because we could have safe places to have those types of conversations. And if someone feels they can't have those conversations, that concerns me, and I'd be happy to work with anybody to figure out how to do it.